Guys, please, if you are lost in TOEFL, please just binge watch everything that Juva posts. I actually saw like you using it. Hey, you're being recorded. Great job. Excellent. Let's move on to the next step. And I was like, oh.
Hi guys, welcome back to TOEFL with Juva. Today I talked to Charrisse. Charrisse just took the TOEFL Home Edition and she's going to talk about her experience. Hi Charrisse, how are you doing?
Hi, Juva. I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm fine too, thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. Many TOEFL students wonder what taking the TOEFL is like and how they can prepare for the test. So it's really great that you want to talk about your experience. First, tell us a bit about yourself. What are you doing and where are you from?
Hello, everyone. I'm Charrisse and I'm from Malaysia. I'm currently 20 years old, almost. And I just graduated from my pre-university course. I took TOEFL because I wanted to apply to undergraduate degrees overseas. So yeah,
So
I wanted to take IELTS, but then they didn't provide the service to take the exam from home. And Malaysia's pandemic is really serious. So I resort to TOEFL. And it was good. It was good.
Amazing. That would have been my next question. What was your TOEFL home experience like?
Overall, it's good. I think the ETS website has improved. It became like more user friendly. So whether you want to know about like your exam dates or book an exam or just know about your scores, everything is on like one page. So it's very easy for people like me that's not really good at tech stuff or finding the website. And Proctor U is a whole other story. Yeah, but overall it's good. Like nothing went horrible. Everything went smoothly. And I actually booked my test 1 month later. So I have like more time to prepare. Because right now I'm not in university. So I'm really free to study for TOEFL.
How did you communicate with your proctor during the home edition? Did you only write in the chat box or could you also speak to him?
My first proctor was actually really nice. Like I, I only got to know that he was taking an extra effort to be nice after I ended the exam because when I look at the other interviews on your channel and they have different experience with the proctor. So I was like, oh, like my proctor actually didn't have to be nice, but he was nice. Like he after our checkup, like he'll tell me to move the laptop around and like take off your watch and put your phone aside. After every step, he'll say something really affirming like, great job, excellent, let's move on to the next step. And I was like, oh, that's encouraging, that's really uplifting. And after the checkup and before he launched the exam, he actually took time to say like, hey, I know this exam is important to you, have faith in yourself and good luck in your exams. And I was like, oh, like that actually calmed my nerve. And yeah, I just feel so happy afterwards, like throughout the whole exam, because I got a nice start for this important thing that I'm doing. Yeah, so there's one part that freaked me out, which was like when he typed in the chat box like, "Hey, can I please borrow your mouse?" And I was like, "What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, borrow my mouse?" And then the next thing I know I needed to say yes to comply to the instructions. And the next moment, he just started moving like cruising my mouse over my screen to open like the Google Chrome tabs and like the settings to help me with some problems on my Bluetooth speaker that I was using. And I was keeping like a poker face because the screen says like, hey, you're being recorded. and I was so scared. But then like inside I was freaking out, but on the outside I was like, okay, this is normal. I actually went into my room 30 minutes earlier because I thought the proctor will be there already. But turns out they start on time. Like let's say your appointment was, I mean, from my personal experience, if I put my appointment at 9 a.m., the proctor will only appear at 9 a.m. and not before that. Like I thought they will take like 20 minutes earlier to help set up, but that's not the case.
How did you take notes during the TOEFL Home Edition? Did you use a whiteboard or a transparency sheet?
Oh, this is a good one because I actually saw like you using it. So yes, I used the
Amazing.
transparency sheet too. It's easy because it has two sides.
So was it convenient for you using the transparency sheet?
Yeah, it was quite convenient, but one thing that I panicked before exam was about the marker pen. I just realized that I only have permanent marker pens, and
Okay.
all of the whiteboard markers are like the chunky, thick type. And so when I write, it was really slowing me down. So I had to order a fine tip whiteboard marker online to make sure that I write quickly.
But in
Yeah,
the end, everything was fine, right? And
yeah,
everything went
everything was
well.
fine. That
Okay.
was 2 days before the exams.
Charisse, you got a very high TOEFL score. Congratulations, that's really
Thank you.
amazing. How did you prepare to get such a great score?
Oh, I actually stick to a few main points. I think the first one is I don't know, like my study method might not apply to everyone, but what I did usually in my school exam is I always do mock tests and I always do practice tests. So the first thing after I register is I just dive straight into the first set of practice tests. Oh, I forgot to add that I recommend everyone to check out the free internet resources like your channel or other YouTube channels before you register and purchase the TOEFL official TOEFL book because not everyone needs it. If the internet resources is sufficient for you, then that's totally fine. And in my case, I didn't know that there was free resources, so I purchased the IBT Volume 2 textbook, and it contains 5 practice tests. So I did the first test first, and from that test, I get to know that I absolutely don't know what I was doing for speaking and writing. And so I worked my way from there. And that's when I found your channel because because I felt so lost after the first test. And so for the next few days, I just binge watch like your speaking videos, your writing videos, task 1, task 2, some reading and listening, but mostly just speaking and writing. So like that brings me to my second point, which is templates uh, from you. like I like when I first click into your video, I was like, yes, timestamps. Like she has timestamps in every one of her videos. Like that saves me so much time. And then I got happier when the templates were free for download. So
That's amazing. I'm so glad they were helpful to you. Which video would you say was most helpful to you?
I think if you don't know where to start, you just did your first test first. And for me, I found out that my speaking section is the weaker part. So I just watch your speaking videos first, especially the seven steps to score speaking, as well as the templates for writing task 1, which is the integrated writing and the independent writing. I personally found like these 3 or 4 videos the most informative for me, and I actually use the resources that you gave in the video for the whole month. Like I keep referring it back after I did every test. Yeah, so thank you. It was for free, so
You're so welcome. I'm so glad the channel was helpful to you, and that's exactly what the channel is for. It should help you guys, and it should show you that the TOEFL is a challenge, but it's absolutely doable. Charisse, was there a task on the TOEFL that you found challenging?
as I mentioned, it's gotta be speaking actually, because for me, I'm quite confident when I converse in English on a daily basis. But then I get really self-conscious when I recorded my response and I listened back to it. There's some pronunciations and intonations that I didn't get quite right. And for the speaking part, I feel like everybody feels the same, which is the time just passes by and the question just go like bam, 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 then like finish. So it really takes a lot of practice for me to calm down, arrange my thoughts, practice on my note taking, and just deliver my answer in a organized way in about 15 to 60 seconds. So I think the biggest challenge was the time limit, because when I start to speak really quickly, my grammar, my pronunciation is all out of the window. So I I have to I have to practice on that. Yeah.
Which task was the easiest for you?
I would say listening and reading too, but listening is the easiest, I guess. Yeah.
Why was it easy?
I think it's because you just have to focus on what you're listening. I usually take notes whenever I'm listening to a lecture or a conversation, but my focus is actually not on what I'm writing. I'm just making my hand move and write down the stuff to register like the details in my brain. And afterwards, I've one more thing that I found helpful is before you start some uh, a certain section such as reading or listening, just visualize in your mind like, oh, I'm going to get 30 out of 30. Yeah, even though your pre-existing level might not be there yet, but I actually find that when you have the mindset to strive for the highest score, like I will automatically put more focus into each question. Because sometimes during the exams, especially after you encounter a confusing question, you might feel like giving up, or you might feel like, oh, I don't have like the mood to continue the questions anymore. So I guess that's how I did well for my listening.
That's excellent advice. Thank you. How did you feel immediately after the TOEFL?
I was actually right after the TOEFL, I was actually waiting for the proctor to say like, oh, congratulations, you ended your exam. But I just sat there for 5 minutes like, is anybody going to notify that I can leave my room now? Because I was so scared that if I leave my room and they're like, where did you go? Like my scores will get cancelled. So I just sat there for 5 minutes and stared at the screen. And after I realized that nobody's going to come and tell me to go, then I felt relief. I actually felt relief. I have like just like a vague idea on what scores I can get, but it was never above 100, just above the requirements, which was 95. Yeah, I was quite confident with the scores that I'll get, but I never expected it to, be above.
So amazing. Yeah, in the end, you got an awesome score. You can apply to your dream universities. That's really
Hopefully,
great.
yeah.
Congratulations again. Charisse, thank you so much for this interview. Thank you for giving us an insight into what your TOEFL experience was like. And I wish you all the best for your applications and your studies.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Guys, please, if you're lost in TOEFL, please just binge watch everything that Juva posts because she's so efficient. I'm sorry. She's so efficient and everything is so compact. Just just utilize the materials well and you can score. It's not impossible to score like a decent mark. Just the
Thank
cheesy line. Believe in
thank you so
yourself.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Charisse. I'm so glad the channel was helpful to you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.